What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me again. We're finally doing the turbo build on the Golf R32. I've got all the parts ordered now. They've all been delivered. Still waiting on a couple of little bits, but the majority is here, as you can see. I'm just going to take you through what I've got. I'll do separate unboxing videos for each item as and when we use it, but essentially just going to show you what I've got, give you an introduction to what we're doing, the timelines, etc., to get this stuff onto my Golf and make some decent power figures. So I'll just take you through what we've got, and then I'll take you through the plan afterwards. So as you can see here, we have a this is a Pulsar turbo from Pulsar UK. It's a GTX 3584 RS, so it's compatible for over 1,000 brake horsepower, and the right engine. I'm only looking at 500, so this will do me nicely. Just spool up nice and easily. It's got a 82 AR housing on the rear, so it should spool pretty nicely. It was a choice between that one or the 106 housing. I chose the 82R. DK Auto, who's also on YouTube, I'll link his channel below. He used an 82R, an AR82, and he said it spools up fine. Doesn't over spool or anything like that. Doesn't spool up too quickly, so I should see full boost around 3,500 RPM, which is perfect, really. So the turbo itself is a really good bit of kit, to be honest. I mean, it's a complete clone of Garrett, just very a lot less money essentially, but I mean everything is beautiful on it. Literally couldn't ask for a better turbo, really. These turbos are renowned to be actually quite good quality. We see quite a lot of them being used in drift cars and really high horsepower Supras, etc. So it should be perfect for my application. So just moving on now to some of the other bits I've got. So I've got tile wastegate. Although this is a budget-friendly build, there are a couple of things I didn't want to skimp out on, and boost management is not one of them. So I bought a tile wastegate rather than an eBay cheapo, just to make sure that I'm handling boost as best I can. And now we move on to the manifold. This is a cheapo manifold from AliExpress. I think it's like £35 from AliExpress. About £40 delivery, as well as some tax. So I paid £102 for it delivered from China. It's actually just the same as all the other log manifolds you get from eBay or like Lauren Motorsports or wherever, but essentially it's all the same. Casting actually looks pretty decent, in all fairness, so got no issues really. I mean, I think this it's pretty much, I can't really show you in there, but everything seems to flow perfectly fine. I'm going to clean up some of the edges, but yeah, I mean, it looks all good, to be fair, especially how cheap it was. I got this adapter for my tile wastegate, so it comes with a 2-bolt. Obviously my wastegate is a more modern V-band. So if you look inside there, there's actually a fair, that white stuff is where I put some sort of paint pen, so I'm actually going to Dremel that out to make it the same size as the V-band, because there's no point, that's just a restriction there. And there's enough meat in there. I don't know how well you can see on camera. There is enough meat in there to sort of Dremel out and make it the same size as the connector. But at the moment I've got a problem with this connector. It's actually too thick on this bit here. It's too thick to go into the clamp. So believe it or not, so it's 0.5 mil out, which actually is quite a lot in a position part for the V-band stuff. So I need to grind this down 0.5 mil, and hopefully it'll fit. But whatever. I mean, the eBay sellers, he's been a nightmare, to be honest. So I wouldn't recommend them. They've actually been very poor. But a link will be provided for all of this stuff. Which will basically I've created a spreadsheet, and in that spreadsheet we'll have a list of every part I bought, how much it cost me, and a link to where I got it from. so you guys can download it and basically buy the exact same stuff I've got for your builds, and you know exactly what I've ordered, etc. So that should help a few of you out. So moving on, I've got a Victor Reigns head gasket, which is also the decompression plate. The decompression plate is, I think altogether is 3.15 millimeter. Again, I will put the links already in the Excel spreadsheet, which you guys can download, so you can get the same one as well. There was a few compression ratios. This one will be around 8 to 9, 9 to 1, 8, 9 to 1, or 9 to 1. That's the one that sort of Stealth recommended. So just move on quickly now. Got some mains bearings, or big end bearings, whatever you want to call, for the rods, head bolts, standard head bolts. I was going to go with ARP, but there seems to be a bit of a shortage crisis at the moment, and to be honest, I mean, the price of ARP bolts, I can replace the head bolts probably 5-6 times for the same cost. So people don't have any issues running standard head bolts on 500 brake, so I kind of figured that we didn't need to either. But what I did get from ARP was some rod bolts. So these are the rod bolts for the VR6. They actually aren't available anywhere in the country that I can find. Everywhere was back ordered till July, end of July, which is a month away. And even then they said they're actually not sure whether they'll actually come in July. So I was actually really lucky. There was a guy on Facebook, so cheers Steve. He had a set and that he wasn't using, and managed to come to a deal, and he sent them out to me, which was great for me. It was, the cost was a lot less, and I could get them sort of immediately, so that was a bit of a bonus. So just moving on to a few other items here. We've got the downpipe here, which is from Laurent Motorsport, or Laurent Motors. I can't remember the name now, but you'll see it in the spreadsheet. But essentially, it's the piece that comes from the turbo back down through the past the axles and stuff, and then I've got a large section here that joins to the standard exhaust. So I have to modify that to fit. But anyone ordering this downpipe section, you need to be careful, because the V bands themselves aren't really compatible with the turbo, because the turbo has a sort of a more as a 90 millimeter V band, which the ones on these downpipes here, they have a 94 millimeter V band, which is frustrating. So essentially what you have to do is cut the V band off, sort of this section here, and weld on the one that you get with the turbo. So it actually slots within this groove here and will fit the V band, which is annoying. I thought it would be a straight fit. I've been on to Laurent, and they have been very helpful with regards to trying to resolve the issue, but I think it's just going to be a case of me having to get someone to modify it for me, which is a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. So just going to move on. Got the Pro Sport boost controller. So it's a boost gauge and a controller in one, so I can set boost worn and boost cut, etc., and set the boost itself all from the gauge in the car. I have to get out and do a manual boost controller. So that was a quite expensive option. It was about £170, so sort of $200 or so, which is not as expensive as the AEM one, but it's still quite expensive compared to a manual boost controller. So we've gone with that, and we'll see how it is. I just want to make it easy to change the boost inside the car rather than having to get out. Got to make my tuner's life easier. Just got some standard connections here. This is for the return of this is for the boost, the dump valve to go onto. So dump valve will sit onto there, and then dump waste back into the intake pipe, which is just the intake pipe. It's 4-inch to match the 4-inch there, and I've got a 4-inch. Well, this is for 3-inch, but essentially the MAF housing will go somewhere there, to make to run the MAF inside the 4-inch pipe. And then obviously, yeah, as I was saying, this is the blow-off valve or recirculating valve. It's just a cheapy Chinese one. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know much about it really. It's just, I know it was very cheap, and it's a copy of the forged one, so if it works, it works. I've got some adjustable springs that can go in it, so, you know, if it doesn't work, I'll just go and get one that will, but I'm not too bothered about that, to be honest. I mean, the wastegate was the most important thing for me, for sort of boost management. So just moving on, I've got some various fittings here actually. This is kind of quite expensive way of doing it, but essentially I've bought everything individually. Got my T-piece for my oil pressure. I got various AN fittings for the oil feed. I got a filter for the oil feed too, because I'm running a ball bearing turbo. You need to make sure the oil is clean, so you have a filter in line. So that's there. Again, that's for the oil. Return line for the oil from there, which is an AN10 fitting to an AN10 fitting, which will go into the sump. So it's just a screw-on type one. So it sort of sandwiches in between the pan there, and then the connections for the AN10 lines for the drain, and then just a nipple that will go back into there, be welded to that to feed the boost, the recirculating boost from there. And then we've got our various AN lines here, so AN4, AN10. I still need to get some AN6 for the water lines for the wastegate, because the wastegate is water cooled as well, and obviously for the turbo. So I do that as and when I got the turbo in the car, so I know which lines I'm running through and what diameter I need to get for the connections. So I'm not worried about that just yet. So, and I mean, just moving on from that, we got the boost stuff, which is again parts of the adapter. So this is a boost box. So from the inlet manifold, we basically just plumb one fat line from the inlet manifold to this, and then run all the boost or vacuum lines, etc., from this boost bar here. So it should keep everything out of the way. I mean, I'll tuck it under, I'll keep it well out of the way basically, so no one can see it anyway, but it should tidy stuff up. Got a boost gauge pod that goes in the vent. This is actually looks like it's 3D printed, so I'm not too happy about the quality of it, but I'll let you guys know how it fits when it's actually in. It looks okay, but I thought it'd be better quality than that. So moving on, we've got the injectors. So I went with 550cc injectors. I was going to go with 630cc's, but speaking to Vince, the Stealth, and you know, he kind of said the 550s will work perfectly fine for 500 brake. I mean, it's 4.4 bar fuel pressure regulator, so it should flow up to 550, 600, okay. So there was no need to get the 630s. And if I want to run more power in the future, I can. And you know, injectors, to be honest, isn't the most expensive thing to go out and buy when you know, in the grand scheme of things, of, you know, potentially a built motor, clutch packs, etc. So I thought I'd go with a sort of a better handling injector, because even when you oversize them, sometimes you get issues with idling and starting up, etc. So went conservative, but it'll flow for the power I need. It's not really an issue. So in these boxes, I've got a Mitsumoto catch can in there, black, it's nice. I'll show you that when I unbox it. I've got a Wellbro 450 fuel pump. Again, I'll show you when I unbox it, and just some heat wrap stuff. There's also a lot of bits that are just sort of random stuff. So gasket paper, and you know, gaskets. I mean, there's gasket in there for the inlet manifold. We've got all the boost piping in there, which is blue, as you can see. But it's all blue boost piping, which wasn't ideal. I wanted black, but black wasn't selling anywhere. So the piping itself is chrome, but the connectors are blue, which is really annoying. But I'm hoping to weld all the aluminium pipes up, so that you'll basically see very little blue, which is the idea. But we'll see. I've also got some oil filter, service kit stuff. This is the pollen filter. Bought some degreaser as well. Plenty of brake cleaner. You'll see here. I mean, I've got a box of the stuff because I know I'm going to need it. And I've got degreaser here, paint for the inlet manifold. There's like a wrinkle black. Let's go for the manifold. And yeah, antifreeze, etc. So basically I should have everything I need to strip the head off, put the gasket on, refresh all the fluids, put all the parts together. The only things I should be missing is water feeds and anything that might come up. So as you can see, I've got a short runner intake. I think this is the kind of CTS turbo, style of inlet manifold. It looks pretty good, to be fair. I got this from Germany, obviously cast aluminium. The casting looks all right, actually. I mean, it's all perfectly flat, but there's no holes in here for boost, reference, or vacuum. So I'm probably gonna have to tap some connections, probably from this sort of into there, or maybe underneath here, so it's well out the way. But yeah, I mean, I've got to make sure that I can get boost and vacuum references from this. I mean, I think it's for the Mark IV as well as the Mark V. So we've got some odd hole placements, but I think it's to suit the Mark IV and the Mark V R32s. And they got the large intercooler in here. It's like, it must be 500 by 300 or 600 by 300 or something. Again, everything will be in the spreadsheet, so you can check it, where I got it from, how much I paid for it, etc. So, I'm really trying to help you guys out here in your buying decision, because believe me, it gave me a headache trying to make sure I got the right things. And I got a titanium cover for the turbo to keep temperatures down in the engine bay. There's a few other bits here. I've got some tape and fittings and stuff that I'm probably just not showing you right now. I mean, as for the turbo kit, that's probably it. I mean, I had to buy some tools to support the build, so that costs a few £100 on tools. I had most of it already, to be fair, but this is the main bits of the turbo kit. Join me to, I will go into as much depth as I can in every single video. I don't know how many parts there'll be. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, so if you've got any questions or need any answers on anything, put a comment in the below. Don't forget to subscribe so you can follow me along this journey. The car, it's currently now, it's 28th of June 2022. The car is expected to be mapped at the end of September. So I've got a few months to get it ready. I expect it to be ready before then, but sometimes life throws you a curveball when it comes to building project cars. Like I say, subscribe, click the bell so you can stay notified when I post videos. But essentially, we're going for 500 brake. It's going to be a headspacer motor, as much flames as I can get. Should be an interesting build. I hope you guys agree. Follow along for the journey. So guys, like and subscribe and follow me on the journey to turbo in this Golf R32, get them 500 horsepower and see what I do in the build, what challenges I face and how I resolve them. And also check out the spreadsheet, which has all the parts linked and how much I paid for them, etc. So hopefully you can do the build too. Cheers guys, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.